Hello everyone. Welcome to edupediaworld.com. This is your video lecturer Vomika Soni, and in the current video lecture I will explain you all about the end products of photosynthesis. In my previous video lecture I had already discussed about the mechanism of photosynthesis. For all those who have not seen my previous video lecture, I recommend you all to do so. In the current video lecture, I will explain about the end products of photosynthesis. Also, I will tell about the adaptations of photosynthesis in leaves. So, let's begin with end products of photosynthesis. Glucose, oxygen and water. These three are the end products of photosynthesis. Glucose is either immediately utilized by the cell or stored in the form of sucrose, starch or cellulose and used in the synthesis of complex molecules like protein and fats. The next end product is oxygen. A small fraction of oxygen produced during photosynthesis may be used by the plant for respiration, while the major portion of it diffuses out through the stomata into the atmosphere. Then the last end product is water. Water produced during photosynthesis may be reused by the plant for photosynthesis. So this was all about the end products. Now we have the conversion of starch and other substances from glucose. See, glucose formed during photosynthesis is converted to complex substances like sucrose, starch and cellulose and stored in the plant in its storage organs. Sucrose is the chief reserve food material in sugarcane and sugar beet. It is formed by the combination of glucose and fructose, a 6-carbon sugar similar to glucose molecule. You can see the structure of sucrose here, that glucose and fructose are linked together with the glycosidic linkage, and this is the structure of sucrose molecule. Next is starch. Starch is the most common storage product of plants and is formed by the joining together of several glucose molecules. Potato, sweet potato, rice, wheat and maize are rich in starch. See, it is the main storage polysaccharide of plants. It is the most important dietary source for human beings. High content of starch is found in cereals, root, tubers and some vegetables. It is a polymer of alpha glucose and consists of two components. First one is the amylose. Amylose is a water-soluble compound and it consists of 15 to 20% starch. You can see the structure of amylose here. How are they linked, the molecules? Next is amylopectin. Amylopectin is not water soluble and it consists of 80 to 85% of starch. Next we have cellulose. Cellulose is the chief constituent of cell walls of plants. It is formed by joining together of a large number of glucose molecules. It occurs exclusively in plants and it is the most abundant organic substance in plant kingdom. It is predominant constituent of cell wall in the plant cells. Here you can see the structure of cellulose. These are the beta linkage and this is the way through which the molecules present in the cellulose are linked. Next we have about the adaptations for photosynthesis in leaves. Large surface area of leaves to maximize light absorption. This is one of the adaptations taken up by leaves so that photosynthesis can take place in them. The next is a thin layer of wax cuticle helps to reduce evaporation on the upper surface. Here you can see the thin layer of wax cuticle on the leaf on the upper surface. This helps to reduce evaporation and helps in better photosynthesis. Next, a rich network of xylem fibers to deliver water and minerals and phloem fibers to remove the product of photosynthesis. See, the palisade cells are deep and tightly packed. As you can see in this image, the palisade cells are deep and tightly packed, and the chloroplast within them can move so that all have a chance of obtaining all the light they need. This is another adaptation for photosynthesis in leaves, that the palisade cells are deeply and tightly packed and the chloroplast within them can move so that all have a chance of obtaining the light they need. Next we have the guard cells surround pores called stomata. This we are all aware about, opening in the day to allow carbon dioxide called in and closing at night to reduce water loss. So this is another method of adaptation. The last one is loosely packed spongy mesophyll cells create air spaces, making gas exchange more efficient between the atmosphere and the palisade cells. The air spaces also trap a little carbon dioxide, allowing some photosynthesis even when the stomata is closed. So this was all for today's video lecture. Hope you have enjoyed the video lecture and understood the concept properly. In my upcoming video lecture, I will discuss about the factors affecting photosynthesis. Till then, keep watching to the videos of edupediaworld.com. Have a wonderful day ahead.